Hello, welcome back to another episode of Modeling Joe's Arcade, which is what we're going to be doing right now. This time around, as I sneak over to my Joe's Arcade files, we are going to be working on kind of the last bit of furniture that we're after, which is a water fountain that goes around here. Drinking fountain, water fountain, bubbler if you're one of the crazy folks. Sorry, that was an unnecessary dig at Wisconsin while I'm stalling for time looking for what I'm after, which is just a picture of the water fountain. As a reference, there's kind of one. There's a good one. There's a little bit more of the area. So, yeah, trying to do this water fountain. Now, I do have dimensions on that, I believe. It is 17 by 14 by 40 inches tall. And I'm going to say that 40 is probably to here, but I think I'm going to be able to get the base of this from the warehouse, the 3D warehouse. We will see, though. Music for this week's edition of Modeling Joe's Arcade will be the Star Wars Dark Side EP by the Auralnauts. I will have a link to where it is on YouTube in the description, as always. Some neat beats to get you in the Star Wars mood. And yeah, let's get to it. Let me kick that off over on my end. So, like I said, I think the 3D warehouse is going to be the way to go on this. I'm going to try to get some models here. I'll just search water fountain. Now, I did kind of a cursory search. I didn't see anything that was like what I was after exactly, but I did, I believe, find some models that maybe I can mash together to kind of come up with what I'm after. So that's kind of like a classic public building type water fountain. So you're getting a lot of just like, you know, this sort of water fountain, which is not the sort of fountain that I'm after. I'm going to try drinking fountain. See what we come up with there. A lot of different models here. These are all closer to what I'm after. That's a pretty good model. I think this water bottle filler is something that I'm interested in, so I'm going to grab that. Oh, I have to sign in. Alright, here we go. Back on. I had to reset my password there because couldn't remember it. Anyway, we were in the process of downloading this water bottle filler, which I want to... I'm going to check out the details real quick too. Yeah, okay, interesting. And of course, modeled by Courtney L. So we'll go ahead and download that and load it directly into the SketchUp model. There we go, looking all right. And back to the warehouse. Gonna try to find a few more details of this item. Drinking fountain. These are almost not far off. That's almost pretty close as well. Not quite though. Maybe the best that I can find, though we will see. So we keep scrolling down. That's not bad. Wendy's restaurant. That's pretty interesting, I guess. Wow, this has got a picture of a finger on it. Just curious what this says. Bryce is going to drain in the water fountain. That's horrible. Poor Bryce. Get out of that water fountain. Very strange. Huh. All right. Anyway, we're gonna move past this this model here. Go back to our main drinking fountain model page. It's a strange tangent. I just hope Bryce gets out of that drinking fountain. And that's all we've got for those. So I think I'm gonna pick the best one available, which I would have to say was this one. It's not too far off, and we might use this as a base and make some modifications by Monty. Let's download that. Yep. And let's also make sure, yeah, I'm on the furniture layer. Let's do one more quick search through the warehouse too, just to see what's out there. Wonder what will happen if I search bubbler. Get a lot of strange things here. Very few of them appear to be drinking fountains. So we won't use that. I'm going to take one more search through water fountain. But not very promising. Yeah, so what I'm looking for that I haven't seen on really any of these is this sort of unusual method of activating it. It's not very standard anymore, but it's okay. We'll start with this one here, like I was kind of indicating. Make some adjustments to it. And see where it goes. So I'll delete that. And already I think it's going to be a good moment to start taking a look at the overall dimensions. I think we wanted this thing to be 14 by 17 by 40. So let's go 14. And I'll grab kind of all this geometry here. And we'll pull this thing out, make it 14 inches wide. We'll grab that. Now we've got our width. Should be 17 inches long. Pretty close to that already. But I'll grab all this stuff. We'll lengthen that to 17 inches. Do a double check, measure twice, model once, 17 by 14, and 40 inches tall, which it is nowhere near. I'm going to just do that, because then I can grab this bottom face and just pull it to the floor. Alright, I would say that's already looking a little bit more like it should. So another thing that I've noticed, and I don't know that I have a really great angle to show it, but this water fountain spigot should be rotated differently with respect to the lever. So I'm going to turn this thing 90 degrees, and then the lever part down here should be rotated, yeah, 180 degrees. Now, the other thing I'm noticing is that this is all one component. It's very well modeled, but it is going to be a little bit of a challenge to rotate this the way I want to. I think what I'll do is I'll copy this part of it 10 inches away. What happens if I just try to yank that up? Yeah, it's not pretty, huh? Okay. I want to see inside. Maybe there's a face I can grab a hold of. I'm going to get that off the floor so I can do that more easily. 2 inches up. Ah, yeah, here we go. I'm going to grab the midpoint of this and just draw a line down. That is where this thing should be centered. Now I'm going to select it. Oop, I'm losing a lot of stuff here, but I'm going to delete it. And I'll group this piece. And I'll group that piece and this piece. And now I'll go ahead and rotate those 90 degrees. There's a little bit of some clashing stuff going on in the corners here. I'm not going to worry myself with that too much. It's a very minimal detail. We'll move that back 10 inches. Now we're angled the right direction. And I would say this can get placed in here once that's ready. I'm going to make a few more modifications to it first, though. Autosaves always remind you that you should save. So we have some of this same geometry in the model we're going for, but it's angled almost, which is interesting. And then above that angled portion, it's a little flatter. So again, obviously I don't have real dimensions that I'm working off with on this, and I'm going to simplify it a little bit, keep these corners as opposed to doing radii. But I do want to get the general concept across. There's also this edge here is raised a little differently than it is in this model. So I'm going to start here, just draw some lines like that, and total eyeballing, I'm going to pull this up an inch. And I'll make a connection there, delete that line, and make a connection here. That's going to enable me to grab these edges here, pull them back. Let's go an inch. An inch, make a 45-degree angle, which looks pretty good compared to the source material. Yeah. Not bad at all. And I'm going to pull out the little shelf here. And that's going to be where the bottle filler sits. This elevation difference doesn't really seem to exist in the physical copy. So I'm going to kind of blow that away. This isn't the most complicated model that I'm working with here, but it is really well cleanly done, which I always appreciate. And almost, I'm going to see what happens. Nah, apparently I can't really move that face very much. I guess more than anything, I'm kind of curious what happens if I lift these edges up. And make this come to the same level. So essentially get rid of this vertical face there. It's not half bad. Don't have any extra lines, it doesn't look like, which is a risk, especially in other software like Blender. Double lines are much more of a pain. Okay. I think that looks a little bit more like what I'm going for. Now I'm going to grab this face here and the drain. Ooh, there's something more going on in the drain than I realized. The actual drain holes are modeled. Alright, we're going to now pull that out just a little bit. Maybe 0.52 inches. And that's where this is going to sit. Looks like that wasn't quite enough to pull it out either. Probably should have brought this over as a reference before, huh? But let's say I want it to be sitting about there. I'm going to delete those, whatever they are. Looks like some extraneous details. There we go. That looks all right. That's about where that should be sitting. Even location-wise in this thing, it's not half bad. So I think I will keep it. So the last couple things to deal with here are going to be some of this interior basin modeling. I'm going to grab this and move it over, say, an inch, because it just looks a little closer. I'm going to move this over. Well, before I do that, this should be a vertical face. So I'll do that. Delete that, and now I'm going to move this over till I get close to the edge that I want. Which I'll do, well, let's actually get like a semi-uniform edge going around this thing of 1/2 an inch. Except for on that back side, which is about 3/4 of an inch. I'm okay with that. Hopefully everybody else is as well. But we'll move that. We will move this. And we'll hold off on that other side for just a second. While I think of how to approach it. Because this piece here, thank goodness, is its own component, so I don't actually have to worry too much. I'm going to just, for the moment, I'm going to pull that thing back 5 inches. And we'll take these elements here. And move them back to our border. Now, some of this now is going to have to change. This piece, I actually want to kind of extend out from here. And I might, alright, I might actually end up doing a lot of this from scratch now. Just want to think before I step too boldly and delete a whole bunch of stuff that I'm going to want to keep. Keep these grooves going after they end. What to do? I'm going to flip my attention back to this thing. This shield here should be a little bit taller. So we'll start by doing that. I'm going to grab it here because then I should be able to do an edge extend. But it might taper in both directions. Oh, I had it there. I had it. Perpendicular to face outside active. That's not what I'm about. Alright, we'll pull it up like that so I can have something to work with here. Oh, you're killing me, model. I'd like to bring it up to about there. Like that. Perfect. There we go. Okay. And now, instead of this button, which I will delete, we're going to have a slightly different shape. Still going to be a circle, I guess. We'll go, sure, 24 sides will be fine. And we'll go 0.5 1/2 inch there on radius. Okay, and last-ish but not least, we'll grab our little handle. bring that out. I'm thinking 0.4, but I want to actually see it here. Point 0.4. Okay. That gives us sort of the shape we're after. And we'll pull it up by 0.5. We'll group that thing, but first I'm going to color it closer to what it should be. Ooh, got a lot going on here. Let's see what to do next. Trying to decide if this is going to come off noticeably better with a little bit more detail. I think this should be depressed like that. Definitely. I'm also thinking, whoa. Oh, come on, come on. Give me a circle snap. I guess not. Haha. We've got some crazy coordinate axis stuff going on here. Let's see if any of these will work out. There we go. 0.5. Let's do a circle and make that thing. Well, let's do a circle at 0.4 for radius. Another one at 0.2. And a last one at 0.05. Now, what am I doing here in this kind of haphazard way? I'm going to try to do some I'm going to try to make a dome is what I'm going to try to do by bringing this up. Oh, but I've made a critical error because this face isn't split as many times as it should be. But this will help. So we'll go up 0.07. That looks about right. And I'm just going to hide these lines here. And we'll go up 0.05. And we'll go up 0.025. And we'll hide these lines. And now I'm pretty happy with it, but the whole thing looks a little too tall. So I'm going to bring it up by 0.1. Yeah, 0.15. And now I'll move that thing down by 0.15 so it sits flat again. And there we've got our little button. That shouldn't be there. And now all the edges kind of look a little out of place on this one. So we will hide those. I missed one. Okay. Let me see. I probably missed the one on the opposite side here too. Ooh, no, I didn't. Excellent. Okay. So, with that modeled, I'm going to bring it more into where I would like it eventually. And it's going to get rotated 30 degrees. And we're just kind of placing it somewhere that looks about right. Like here. Okay. Now kind of turning my attention back to this area for a brief moment. Something I've noticed is that this would look a little more realistic if I create a raised platform here. Oops. So that's just what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab that. Oop. And how do I want to do this? Let's pull it up just 0.1. I'm going to move it to there. What was that distance that I did? 0.08, of course, you know. Let's move this thing in 0.02. We're doing a little bit of rounding here, but that way I can bring this out 0.1, and I can bring this out 0.1. I can delete these lines now, and I've kept a single face in the back, but that's on a little bit of a raised section, so now that's, of course, replicated. And I do want to go ahead and do the same thing over here eventually, but this part is still a little bit of a puzzler for me, how exactly I want to handle this. And I think it's just going to come down to some manual sketching work. So I want to better define my template here. I want this taper to be 1 inch on every side. Like so. And I don't know about to you, but to me this whole bottom looks a little bit too low. So I'm going to raise it. By just 1/4 inch. And I've really messed up my geometry here. But I think I'm less and less likely to be preserving that at this point. In fact, I think the time has come. I'm just going to delete it. Sorry, shape. You've been demoted to not being a shape anymore. Yeah. It's for the best, I think. I'm going to bring that back to be in line, and then I'm going to bring it out an inch. And I'd like to bring this up an extra. No, I think it's got to stay. I think that's got to be about right. If not a little shallow, but that's what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm gonna end up moving this a little more back towards the corner. Yeah, something like that looks, you know, about rightish. Another detail that I'm seeing that I'm not a huge fan of positioning wise is I think this should be a little more to the right. So we're going to make that happen. I'm going to just move it an inch to the right, and I can now pop out of here, move that an inch to the right. Yeah. Looks good. And I'll come back into this portion of the model. And we'll just draw something in. Move that thing out 2 inches. And this should be somewhere like here. I want this, which is not a straight line. What happened there? Let's come out 2 inches. Glad I came to this crazy camera angle because that was wild. And I'll do something like that. That is going to become this kind of inner island that's going on. I'm just making this up as I go along here. We're coming up 0.375. We'll move that instead of an inch, half an inch. And I've probably created a problem here. Nothing that can't be solved. But this isn't going to be a uniform taper anymore. I don't think it has to be per se. Let's move that. Let's copy that over. And nope, half an inch would be better. It's not what I'm about either. What I am about would be just copying this to get my same angle. Oops. That's not going to quite work either. I'd like to get just a single face going if that's not, probably not super obvious what I'm trying to do here. Without doing some really complicated offsetting too would be the other nice thing to pull off. I think what I'm looking for is I want to draw a perpendicular line here. Work with me, SketchUp, work with me. Perpendicular, please. Nope, okay. We're going to do an offset then. I'm going to move that down to ground level. This is what we're after. We want to get this 1/2 inch distance over here. So I want to go perpendicular, but 1/2 an inch. Whew. This is more complicated than it seemed like it would be. And now we're coming up 0.375 inches. Grabbing that, moving this, whoop, moving this up 0.375. We've got an intersection, which means things are going the way they should. Delete that, extend this line like super far. We'll see if it was far enough. Come up here to be on face. And we've got a face there now. That face should be gone. Get this out of the way again. That should be here, but that face should be gone. And the reason I want that is just to be able to catch this intersection point. Then that can go away again. Because now this should come down and be a face. And that should go up and create a face there. But not quite done with that yet, because we are going to create a little raised portion for the fountain. Dreading that a little bit, because I can tell you one thing, it's going to be a little tricky. Can delete this and that. Create some new faces there. I'm going to grab my material picker too. I'm losing the texture on some of these faces. And I would like it. Okay. Back to looking sharp. The real question is going to be how to create this. So I'll move that thing back in 5 inches like it should be. And I think I've got an idea. Let's create an arc. And we will offset this arc. Quarter inch. And now we'll delete it so there's no trace. And we'll offset another arc to there. I'm going to bring this up by 0.75. I feel like I'm doing rocket science. And delete that, which I hope I don't regret. We'll bring this up by 0.75. Might be because of these space beats that I feel like I'm doing rocket science. Put that down by 0.75. Okay, so that's the footprint that I'm going for on this thing. Now I just gotta bring it home and connect some dots. But before I do, this part should be raised a little bit. Let's raise it by 0.15. Oops, that was a copy, not a raise. 0.15, okay. We're going to scale this thing by our good old friend -1. And create another one out here. Yeah, this is getting technical. But now we've got like a little offset ring on either end. Face up, yay! Oops. Yes, yes. I want to go to here. So I have like kind of a uniform offset. I'm feeling like I'm really flying by the seat of my pants here more than usual. Maybe it's just because I'm thinking about it as opposed to just doing it. But we'll connect all these things. Make some mad scientist faces. There's a really nice face snap that I had just before. I wonder if I can get that again. Yeah, that's cool. That's a good inference. I don't think I'm going to get the same over here, and I'm not really expecting it, I guess. I could have done this with an intercept as well, but for the precision that I've got right now, I think this is adequate. Just want something that's going to look kind of right. That is not it. But that's getting there. Want to grab this and move it down. Oh, oh. Want to move this down by 0.15. And I want to do an offset of 0.25. Start connecting some of these faces up. That's going to go away and end up being just kind of flat. Wonder what happens actually if I connect like that. Ooh, that's getting wild. If I do that, We're just like making up geometry now. Good times. And hey, if it works, I'll go with it. Yeah, it doesn't look half bad. Those are all working edges. We'll hide them. Make things look, yeah, a little bit cleaner. We've got some faces to connect down here. Get rid of that. Want this, want that. And we'll do that. Okay, and that looks like I can just connect it to anywhere and it will face up, which is good. It's for the love of all that is good in this model, I'll admit, I just got no idea what's going on in this little corner. And I don't think that anybody who might be watching this does either. That might not be true. If you know what's going on in this corner, definitely yell at me for how I could have done it a little cleaner. But I'm going to take this decent geometry and run. Because I think it's enough to get the job done from looking at it across the room. Gonna look fine. Let's hide those. Oh, I still got one more spot to button up here. Thought I was in the clear. Got an edge there and there. So we'll connect that. That looks good. That maybe is the best looking part about this whole thing. And there we go. Let's do some paint bucketing. Get that all done up. And that looks pretty good. Couple little details I think will take this the rest of the way home. Want to grab this. That's not the right color. This is close to the right color, but it's a little bit too light. I think we'll try this. That's not bad. Yeah, happy with that. We'll come in here and we will do just like a little rectangle. We'll go 1/2 inch by 2.5 inches, and we're going to flake and make this 0.6 inches. And grab this texture and just do a little bit of metal there to represent the logo. That looks pretty good. And we've got one more little detail that I'd like to get. That would be if I take a circle like this, let's go circle, a few less sides, it's going to be a small detail. Go 1/4 inch. Come up something like that. Size-wise, I think this will be okay. Create that. And I will take this down 36 inches. Go endpoint to endpoint here. Won't let me select it like I want to. We'll take that and we will offset it inwards by 0.15. Select our new lines. Copy those. Let's go an inch and 2 inches. And we'll move those in just a hair. .025 ought to do it. Hide that. I'm going to actually hide all these edges. Oh! Let's select the faces and yeah, that looks good. You select these faces, hide those last couple edges. And somehow missed these few. It's interesting how those created different edges that were different even though it was a copy of the same lines. But there we have it. We've got the drinking fountain modeled. This is still a separate piece, so we'll group that all together. Now we have a single object, and I can move it around. Now I'm going to get needlessly precise on a couple dimensions because I can. We'll constrain that in and move it 19.5 inches, and we'll set it back in by 1 inch And how are we doing comparing to our pictures? That's kind of always the final test, isn't it? I'd say pretty good. Double check my height there. But you can almost line up for the exact same angle as the picture here. I think we got it. It was a little bit of a battle in a couple points, but yeah, got a drinking fountain. All right, so I guess we will leave it at that. Pick up next time on Modeling Joe's Arcade. Thanks for watching, and yeah, I don't know. I'm done rambling for a little bit.